Fujifilm has the potential to be the best cameras for Star Wars photography. I have been doing Star Wars photography with Fujifilm for a year now, from Comic-Cons to Galaxy's Edge to my friend's self-made Star Wars cantina and a Star Wars cosplay immersive experience called Space Dive. And I've even shot some Hot Toys figures.
This is where the fun begins.
Fujifilm is known for having what they call film recipes, or also called film simulations that are built into their cameras. And you can also create your own film recipes directly in camera or using the computer with the Fuji app. This enables you to create looks for your photos straight out of camera, so you don't have to edit them if you want to or not. So you could create a look that fits your style or even mimic something that is cinematic. Fujifilm cameras are compact and lightweight, which is a big reason why I bought their cameras in the first place. I got tired of carrying my heavy DSLR or big mirrorless camera around, and I wanted something that was easier to deal with, especially when I was at cons or other Star Wars events, walking around Galaxy's Edge, or just meeting other people. I needed something that was pocketable or almost pocketable, which they are. Especially, they actually have a camera out now called the X-M5, which is pocketable and it has an interchangeable lens. These cameras are beautiful with their retro look and retro dials on top of the camera. It just feels like you're actually using a real camera. I can't really describe it, but the experience with it is just something else. One cool thing, since it looks like a real film camera, is that it will spark up conversations, often with random people who see the camera and are curious to know what it is. And you can meet some really cool people that way and end up having more photo opportunities and collaborations just because of this camera. The camera is not as intimidating as a DSLR, so people are more willing to engage or approach you. Now, not every camera out there is perfect, so I'm going to get into a little bit of some of the problems and why I'm saying it. It has potential to be the best for Star Wars photography. It's there, but it just needs a little bit of work. Now, the problems with Fujifilm cameras that I personally have is the autofocus, especially for video, which is a problem that is known in the Fuji world. When shooting videos with Fuji cameras, they have trouble finding the subject and will just sit there and not even hunt for it. Now, if your subject is not moving and you can really take your time, then the autofocus is not a problem. That being said, Fujifilm does have cameras like this. They're just gonna either be more expensive for their higher end cameras that are $3,000 to $4,000, or they're not gonna be as compact like the cameras that I'm shooting with. So I'm telling you this because these are the compact cameras. Fuji is not bad, they're amazing. So I'm not trying to bash them. I'm just telling you why I think they have potential, that these smaller cameras have potential, but I feel like they could just be a little bit more perfect. Because you could create some really cool Star Wars photos and videos with these, and I'm just there's some limitations that are kind of holding you back on some things, but every camera has its limits. Another problem with the cameras I have is they don't have an articulating touchscreen LCD like on all modern DSLRs or mirrorless cameras. So shooting vertical is not as easy for me because I was so used to Canon and Sony's LCDs. Just having the ability for the monitor to pop out and twist for better angles is super convenient. And honestly, it's almost a deal breaker for me, but I have hope. Now, if you're a horizontal or landscape photographer, then the way the screen pops out would be perfect for composing shots. The last major problem I have personally is there's no dedicated button, switch, or dial to change to video mode immediately from photo mode. You have to go into the drive menu, then press up and click to switch to movie mode, which is a huge waste of time. You could miss an important shot because of that. These cameras have hybrid camera specs, but they are lacking hybrid standard features. The Fujifilm cameras I have are the X-T50 and the X100VI. The X100VI has been the most overhyped Fujifilm camera, and I'm okay with that. Both of the camera specs are pretty much identical. The X-T50, the main difference is the X-T50 has an interchangeable lens and the X100VI has a fixed 23mm lens, which is a 35mm format equivalent, both featuring a high-resolution 40.2 megapixel APS-C X-Trans CMOS 5HR sensor. For video, it films at 6.2K internally at 30p in 422 10-bit color and 40K 60p. Most of the time, or pretty much all the time, you're not going to need 6K for video. Most of the time I will use 40K 60 frames per second. Now the only issue with the 4K 60 FP, the 60p, is that it actually has a crop and a small slight crop. But that really isn't a huge deal breaker for me because I use a different camera to film video anyways. But I do want to definitely start filming more video with Fuji. It's just I can't normally do it because I really need the autofocus to be faster. Especially when I'm filming the Star Wars stuff, a lot of times I have people walking and moving, or like I'm moving fast, or there's like lightsaber duels and stuff, and people are like, you know, clashing, and then like, you know, they're moving different direction, or I'm twisting the camera angles, and it needs to be snappy. And like that's where Fuji like doesn't excel, is the snappiness for their autofocus for video. The built-in ND filter is the #1 thing that the X100VI has over the X-T50. I have found myself using the built-in ND filter a lot, and it has been super clutch in disastrous, harsh lighting situations. And it has enabled me to get really good looking shots because of it. It's honestly super convenient to have that. The X-T50 does not, of course, have that. You'd have to buy your own ND filters to go over the lens, or you can buy internal ND filters to put inside of the camera. Battery life is not good on the X100VI if you like to shoot a lot. And it drains the battery faster once the camera gets warm. If I plan on shooting more than 300 shots, then I carry 3 batteries. 1,000 or more shots, then I bring 5 batteries. With the X-T50 battery life, honestly, it's okay. It's definitely way better than the X100VI battery life. And the camera does not heat up as fast. These are the smaller batteries compared to Fuji's other cameras that have the bigger batteries, so it's honestly expected. Even in other camera brands like Canon and Sony, their batteries die quick on their smaller batteries. That's just a normal battery thing, so you can't really complain about battery life. But I just want to let you know that's a thing. So, and the batteries are really light and small, so it's easy to carry them around and put them in your pocket. So just make sure you get a bunch of batteries if you like to shoot a lot. Now, comparing the quality to Canon, here are 2 images in similar lighting scenarios. The Canon honestly looks better to me, but the Fuji is not far off. If you want that modern Star Wars look, Canon is the way to go. Like the quality, honestly, it looks like it's higher, I would say, but it's not necessarily that it's higher. It's just like kind of a different look on how the cameras render images. So to some people, the Canon might look way better, and to others, the Fuji may look better. And to some people, they might not like either, and they might like the way like Sony looks or Nikon. So it really depends on how you see it and your eye sees it. But if you want that Star Wars film and more natural look, Fuji was made for this, in my opinion. At the end of the day, most people won't even realize what camera brand you use. With good lighting, both cameras will excel and look similar. It's only when the lighting is low that Fuji's images start to fall apart. Hopefully in the future, Fujifilm's compact cameras will catch up and improve to today's standards. In 2026, I believe that Fuji will step up their game and make cameras that have faster and more reliable autofocus, keep a dedicated switch or dial for movie mode, have an articulating touchscreen LCD, and the camera that I'm looking forward to having these specs is the X-T6. Or if Fuji makes a whole new camera with these specs and features, I'll buy that. So if you're thinking of buying a Fuji camera right now, I'd highly recommend the X-T5 because that camera has the features that I want, like the vertical LCD tilt and movie mode switch. It also has a dedicated ISO dial. It just needs faster video autofocus. And it's like slightly bigger than the compact cameras, but it's also smaller than like the DSLR. So it's honestly like a good size. And the hand grip on that camera is good. I'd also recommend the X100VI. There's just something about the camera that is wonderful. And the way it renders photos is beautiful, especially when you have good lighting. I just can't explain it, but you'll notice it when you actually use it. Some people may never notice it and will not see the appeal, but it just depends on the person. And honestly, I think it depends on the photographer too. And if you don't need to shoot vertically and you like the X100VI's camera body style, but would prefer an interchangeable lens, then the X-E5 would be the perfect camera for you. I hope that you enjoyed this video and may the force be with you.